96.7 KCAL rocks back from world traveling. It is Mr. Pep. We got to talk some sports with our guy, Pep. What's going on?
Yeah, Patrick, I was in Europe for a little bit. So, sports wise, all I saw was, French Open tennis, Formula One was in Barcelona, lots of, soccer. And somewhere in the mix, I was trying to get my news where I could. I saw Aaron Rodgers finally sign with the Steelers, which we've been talking about for weeks and months. And come to find out, I think they said he's married too. So all kinds of surprises, I guess.
He's married. He's employed. Things are looking up for a Raj.
It's all good. All right, so let's talk some NBA Finals. We just had Game 3 last night. Indiana, man, the Pacers from out of nowhere, off the top rope. They have a 2-1 lead on Oklahoma City. They won 116-107 last night. And I was reading the story and looking at the odds before the season began. The Indiana Pacers, if they can finish the job and beat the Thunder, they would be the longest shot, preseason odds-wise, to win the NBA championship. Like, literally, unless you were a Pacers fan, nobody really saw this coming, that they were going to be this good this season.
No, they've had some miracle comebacks, and Game 3 was not a miracle comeback, but a comeback
Yes.
nonetheless. And I think a lot of people thought that, SGA and that Oklahoma City Thunder was just going to roll over Indiana. Of course, I'm going for Indiana because that Oklahoma is my stolen Sonics team. A lot of Seattle people were really happy with Game 3. But it looks like we got a good series here. Maybe 6 to 7 games is what I'm feeling, Pep. And yeah, it would be huge if the Indiana Pacers were able to pull this off. It makes me really happy for our very own Riverside kid, Reggie Miller, if that were to happen.
Yeah, the Pacers have never won an NBA championship. They came close with those Reggie Miller teams, right? Rick Smits, Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson. I think Antonio Davis. I think Dale Davis was on there. I could go on and on, man, because we're in the same era of those NBA teams of like the 90s. So, yeah, I mean, the Eastern Conference was kind of watered down, I would say, because of injuries and whatnot. So to see Indiana come out of the East was a surprise. But if they actually beat the Thunder for the championship, I would be shocked because, again, Oklahoma City was by far the best team during the regular season. But now they're 2 wins away, the Pacers at least, from winning the NBA title, which I would be shocked. And, again, they are a long shot from where the season began to where they are right now on the doorstep of that championship.
That would be huge. It really would be huge for either team. But
Yeah.
yeah, pretty starved out there, the Indiana Pacer fans.
Game 4 coming up on Friday. So we'll see if Indiana can take another step towards that championship. Now, I also want to talk some baseball. It is a big stretch right now for the LA Dodgers. They had a 3-game series with the San Diego Padres. In fact, it was the first time the Dodgers and the Friars have met this season. The Dodgers took 2 out of 3 from San Diego, but now they've got a big series coming up against the Giants, and then they play the Padres again to start next week. And if you look at the National League West standings, the Dodgers are in first place in the National League West. But Patrick, as we knew this was going to happen, super tight in the National League West at the top between the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Giants. Only a couple games separate those 3 teams.
What a good division it is. And yeah, I mean, eventually we've had to wait a long time to finally see the Padres at least and Dodgers matchup. And yes, it will be interesting to see the Giants and the Dodgers go at it. But you got to see where you're at because we kind of can feel those Padres coming. And we see a collision in the future. But now we see like a 3-way collision. Yeah. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, 3 teams from the National League West making the playoffs. I mean, it's possible. Wow. They might just beat each other up, and one of those teams might be on the outside looking in on the playoffs. But as we get closer to, I don't know, the All-Star break is always around like the 4th of July, right? It's usually like the early July, first week, second week of July. That's kind of the barometer, like, okay, is my team a contender or a pretender? So we're getting very close to the 4th of July now to find out which of these teams, who's the team to beat. And again, this is a big stretch for the Dodgers. Took 2 out of 3 from San Diego. Giants this weekend. Padres again next week. This is a big stretch. This will be very telling, I think, at least as we get closer to the All-Star break, of which of these teams is going to, kind of grab the reins and get in the driver's seat.
Yep, we're starting to enter the dog days of summer, as they say.
Yeah, a lot of baseball coming your way the next couple of weeks, as it will be the only show in town, as we'll say, at least sports-wise, as the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals will be wrapping up fairly soon. Oh, and speaking of baseball, again, I was in Europe. I saw the Vatican, and the Pope was there, but I did not see him. But I just saw yesterday, too, that he actually came out with a White Sox hat on, confirming his allegiance to the Chicago White Sox. And it was funny because I was telling my family that, he's a big baseball guy. He loves the White Sox, which they had no idea. And then to actually see him come out yesterday and do his, what do they call it, general audience or something like that in front of the public. And he had a White Sox hat on, so I thought that was pretty cool.
It is, and I mean that was the funniest thing is once it's the first American Pope, which is a big deal. You find out he's from Chicago, and immediately it is like South Side or North Side.
Yes.
They had to know right away, and you find out he's a South Sider.
It's a big deal, right? Like it's like, is he a Yankees fan or a Red Sox fan? Is he a Dodgers fan or a Giants fan? Like Cubs and White Sox, that's a big deal. You can't have both. You're either on one side or the other. So. Definitely a White Sox fan, and he confirmed that yesterday. And one more quick baseball note, because again, I was trying to get caught up on all of our, American sports leagues. The two teams that have the most wins in Major League Baseball right now. Patrick, can you give me at least one of those two? Who has the most wins in the MLB right now?
Boy, I mean, I would love to say the Dodgers.
It's actually the New York Mets. And the Detroit Tigers, of all teams. I know the Tigers were a playoff team from a year ago, and the Mets obviously spent a lot of money. But yeah, right now, the Dodgers are right there. I think they're only like 2 games back in the win column from the Mets and the Tigers over in the American League. But yeah, as we approach that midway point, Mets and Tigers off to great starts.
Well, the Mets fans have to be thrilled about that.
Dude, what was Juan Soto, like $700 million, which I don't know, man. Like, obviously, I'm a Mets fan, full disclosure. I like the Mets. That's my team. Darryl Strawberry was my guy. I'm a Mets fan. But, dude, $700 million for one guy. Like, not even Mike Trout is getting that. I know Shohei Ohtani is in that neighborhood. But, man, Juan Soto getting that much money. I don't know. I'd rather go get several really good players instead of, Juan Soto, who's supposed to be like a generational talent.
Doing well. Darryl Strawberry in the yard the other day meeting with Pete Alonso. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, the all-time home run kings, right, for the New York Mets. So that was pretty cool. Strawberry still around the team. All right, and finally, let's tee it up. We have another golf major teeing off this morning at Oakmont Country Club in Pennsylvania. It's the U.S. Open. And Scotty Scheffler, man, our boy Scotty, has been red hot. He has won 2 Masters championships, including this season, so he's got another green jacket. He just is coming off the PGA championship. I would be shocked if he doesn't win it, man. I'd probably take Scotty against the field right now because he has been playing so well at this point, especially in these major events.
He really has. And obviously, I mean, we haven't seen anything like this. And I know it's early to call. A lot of people are saying that. Well, we don't know yet, since Tiger has done this kind of domination.
Yeah.
But I mean, you do have Jack Nicklaus saying he's clearly in another league, kind of doing a little backhanded compliment to the other players that he's whooping. But if you have Jack Nicklaus saying this guy's on another level, it does kind of feel that way, doesn't it? And he appears to be, I mean, again, we'll see what happens without this weekend. But I mean, if he wins again, then, I mean, there is something to this. Yeah. And I think we already think there is something to this with Scheffler.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Rory McIlroy's had a great run, but when we look for that next great American golfer, like when we saw, Tiger Woods was on, in the twilight of his career, we're like, okay, who's the next one? Like, who's the next great American golfer? And we've been waiting. We thought it was Justin Spieth. We thought maybe it was going to be Ricky Fowler. Different guys have, Bubba Watson. Different guys have had, great moments, but we're looking for that American to just simply dominate golf. And I think Scotty Scheffler, if he's not already, he's right there on the cusp. Like, he might be that next guy, the iconic American golfer that we can all get behind.
We love it, man. Utter domination. Welcome back, Pep, stateside. He's back stateside. It's great to have him back. We talk to him every Monday and Thursday. Pep, tell him how to get your stuff.
Hey, get my stuff anytime at Inland Sports. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on X. You can also find us on YouTube. That is Inland Sports. I'm back.
Thanks, Pep.